Now, across Texas, the issue is.
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin, and this is Texas, the issue is.
Our colleague Greg Rugen is out this week. Soon, students, in a matter of hours for some of you, will be returning to school. And Texas lawmakers in the regular session passed a lot of laws that will make some big changes in the classroom. I talked to North Texas Republican representative from Frisco, Jared Patterson. A bipartisan bill that is now law was to ban cell phone use in classroom. It allows the school districts to tailor how they want that ban to look. But why do you think this was a topic that Democrats and Republicans agreed on?
We focus not only on increasing teacher pay, but helping teachers with some of the problems that they have told us that needs to be addressed. Restoring discipline in the classroom and getting cell phones out of the classroom. These cell phones are a distraction. Kids are addicted to them. There are things that happen where kids are filming other kids or, helping them with cyberbullying. But more than anything, it's just a distraction from the teaching that needs to be occurring in the classroom. And so with listening to teachers, I think you saw a number of pieces of legislation this session come about that is going to make their lives and their jobs easier in the classroom.
I know some North Texas school districts this past school year was already doing a type of ban. Do you think it'll come to, while the intent is to make the classroom a little easier for the teacher, are they going to have to be spending class time governing students to make sure that they don't have their phones? Is that going to be a distraction?
That's a great question. I think with any new rule, there's going to be a period of implementation. The word has definitely gotten out. I know that folks have been talking about this, but again, with any new rule, there's going to be a period of implementation. But I fully expect that once we get past that initial period, that folks are going to realize that this is a much better system. Look, generations of Texans grew up without instant access to their phones, to the social media, to even their parents from texting them throughout the school day. Everyone's going to be fine. We're going to make it through this. And, our kids are going to be better for it. Again, this is just another tool in the toolbox to restore discipline and respect for teachers in the classroom.
How different do you think public schools in Texas will be because of some of these laws?
Well, I think in any new law takes a period of implementation. But I think once fully implemented, what you're going to see throughout this school year is, more funding for our schools to be able to manage their affairs, higher pay raises and higher pay for teachers, more discipline in the classroom, less focus on social media and distractions in the classroom. And overall, and especially with this special session, if we're able to eliminate the STAR test, which is on the call, which I absolutely support, I think that you're going to see a much improved atmosphere for our students, a much improved atmosphere for our teachers. And overall, I think you're going to see scores and results improve because of the work that we did this legislative session, but more importantly, because of the work that our teachers are going to be able to do in the classroom.
All right, my word for that will be adjustment. Rudy Koski, what's your one word?
Oh, that's good. I'm going to go with disconnected.
Disconnected. Man, I don't know what kids are going to do without their phones. When we come back, we'll be joined by Rice University political scientist Mark Jones. We'll be right back. We are back. It's not the Fox Texas Trio, but our friend Mark Jones is joining us to make us three. Now, Rudy, you'll get first bite at this. I'm going to poke some fun at both of you. When both of you were in school, in high school, there weren't no cell phones. Now, for me, I had a phone in the latter end of high school. Rudy Koski, why is a ban in public schools needed?
Well, Stephen, back in my day when I had to, climb through snowdrifts and swim through all those alligator streams and to make it to school, I used tin cans attached with strings to talk to my parents. No, but to your question, are cell phones really needed in school? No. Can mobile smartphones help? Sure they can. Technology is great. Some teachers use phone apps to complete a lesson plan and to even make a test more compelling. They, use these little apps in there to do tests, I'm told, that are really kind of cool. Some kids use their phones to record lectures and to click on QR codes to do some library searches, complete financial transactions in school, and get school information. Under this law, all of that's going to have to change. It's going to be interesting to see how smartwatch enforcement is going to be done. Sneaking that little bzz, bzz, on the smartwatch. That's going to be hard to police, I think. I'm hearing reports that kids are starting to buy video recorders to help make this transition. Start recording on a little video camcorder some of the things that they want to have and do there on campus. But as with any addiction, withdrawal symptoms, they're going to be really tough, being disconnected from the World Wide Web and from the school grapevine. Really is going to be tough transition there, Stephen.
Yeah, that's why I said adjustment. I mean, when I'm taping this show, it's hard for me not to look at my phones. But, it is what it is. It's to alleviate distractions in the classroom. The goal is to help teachers, but also to help students. Mark, Governor Abbott, when he had that ceremonial bill signing, he talked about mental health and cyberbullying and different aspects. This wasn't bipartisan for no reason. Clearly, both sides agreed on that. But is there proof that no cell phones in the classroom will truly help student behavior?
Well, I think by and large, most of the evidence suggests that simply not having the distraction of the cell phones will benefit student performance overall and allow teachers to focus on the curriculum and not have to be worrying that students are focused on their phone rather than what's going on in the classroom. Now, on the mental health side, certainly there's a benefit. We know that there's significant negative effects on mental health from too much screen use and the types of things students watch. Now, they won't be able to do that during school, but that doesn't mean they won't be able to do it after school, on the weekends and the evenings, etc. So I think the mental health benefits will be there, but they won't be nearly as large as the scholastic benefits and pedagogical benefits provided by not having the distraction that phones have represented until now.
Rudy, there are a lot of other laws that will take effect, some starting in September. 10 Commandments being displayed in classrooms, school districts being able to opt into a period of prayer or reading of religious texts, not just the Bible. What other education laws stand out to you that you think will impact the school year?
Stephen, I think the 10 Commandments thing is going to be more of a media firestorm than a school problem. But I think the cell phone ban will be the education story of the year, at least early on. One parent here in the Austin area who has kids at a school that already has a ban in place told me it took a full year for the controversy to die down. But after it did, they noticed their kids and all the other kids talking to each other at lunchtime and doing things like playing quick games of soccer during breaks and social interaction. The other actions, though, that I'm watching for includes a Patterson bill that, in theory, prevents sexually explicit material from being shown to students. Another bill is SB 13. That one gives school boards, not librarians, the final say over what new books and materials can be purchased for school libraries. Violations, now those could make some extra headlines into this new school year, Stephen.
Mark, does anything outside of the cell phone ban stand out to you for this school year?
Well, I think the ban on DEI, both in terms of hiring, where schools can't use race, gender, sexual orientation, both for hiring or for training programs, is a big one. Also, part of that DEI ban means that they will no longer be able to have school clubs that focus on gender identity and sexual orientation, and it'll be more difficult to have teachers involved, so they need to have separation for any other types of clubs that involve identity. Some of those can exist based on race or ethnicity, but the teachers can't be involved. Also, parents are going to have to approve all of this club participation. That also could have some effects in terms of overall participation, as well as which clubs are allowed in schools and which ones are not. And then finally, also related to the DEI ban is that they can no longer teach about sexual orientation or gender identity in the classroom, and teachers can no longer assist students who are transitioning in terms of using the pronouns that students prefer or anything along those lines.
Yeah, Mark, I think you're absolutely right on those, especially that club one. Now, the big assignment for state lawmakers, with just a little more than a week left in this special session, involves repairing political bridges that were burnt down, napalmed this past week. After this break, House Speaker Dustin Burrows will talk about mending fences and pushing some bills. Welcome back. A group of Texas Democrats spent last week in self-imposed exile, a quorum break to derail a floor debate in the House on redistricting. This highly combustible political power struggle, well, didn't stop committee work from taking place on several other big issues for this special session, which, by the way, ends on the 19th. I spoke to House Speaker Dustin Burrows on whether or not more than a dozen call items like flood response can be saved.
We have historic opportunities on this call. You and I flew over the Kerrville area together. We saw the devastation. We have an opportunity not only to provide relief for the victims of that, but to make policy changes that may prevent this tragedy from happening again. We have an opportunity this special session to end the STAR test. I have 3 boys about to start the school year. Let me tell you, that's really popular with them in every family across the state of Texas. More property tax reform. Great, big, historic issues and opportunities.
When you saw the word that the Attorney General was going to move forward with the removal of office, do you support that?
Look, I know the Attorney General, I know the Governor, I know everyone is committed to basically using whatever tools are in the toolbox to getting things done.
A lot of political lines in the sand. Can the House recover?
We will. We're the Texas House. And I know that we're going to find lots of things that we agree upon. I know that we're going to do big things for the state of Texas when we reconvene. I know there's things that we're not going to agree upon, but that's politics. That's why we have parties. That's what happens.
Large call. Is there anything on it that you just think that may not make it through the THC regulation, the lobbying issues? What are you worried about?
Well, right now it's time. I believe that everything on there is important to address. I believe that we have members from both sides of the aisle who want to address all of those.
Come the 19th, if everything's not done, do you want everyone to come back for special session 2 on the 20th?
I would assume the governor will call us back and I will be there, and many and most of my colleagues will be there willing and ready to meet the call and to do what Texans believe and debate all of these issues. And I believe we will be successful eventually.
Mark Jones from Rice University is back with us, sitting in for Greg Grugan, who is taking a well-deserved break. Guys, if we're looking for a word for that interview with Speaker Burrows, I think I would pick optimistic as my word. Stephen, is Burrows just wishful thinking that House members will be able to bury the hatchet and get things done in this special session, or another one if that has to happen?
It's definitely going to be another one. That's without question. All 18 things are not getting done, even if Democrats come back with a week left. That's just not in reality. And if someone thinks that is, then I want to know what they're drinking. Does the speaker think that things will get passed on the governor's agenda? Absolutely. They will get passed. It's just a matter of how many special sessions it will take to happen.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. In every past walkout, we've heard a lot of over-the-top heated political rhetoric, but this time the cuts seem deeper than usual. President Trump, clearly the gasoline that's fueling this political dumpster fire going on. Mark, what's your read on it?
Well, as you mentioned, this redistricting process and this quorum break would not be occurring were Donald Trump not insistent that Texas Republicans redraw the maps to try to provide Republicans with the possibility of flipping 5 Democratic-held seats. As a result, this has turned into an issue that is not just a state issue, it's a national issue with a national focus. And when Governor Abbott, Speaker Burrows, Attorney General Paxton, Senator Cornyn, and others are talking, they're talking to both an audience of Republicans here in Texas, but they're definitely talking to an audience of one in the White House, trying to show him that they're doing everything possible to try to get these Democrats to come back. Realistically, it's going to be tough to get them to come back before the 19th and this first special session closes. And the most likely scenarios, we're going to have a second special session, probably almost immediately starting on the 20th, where they try to get through most, if not all, of these items. Probably won't get through all of them, but I would expect them to perhaps push a little more red meat, perhaps related to abortion pill regulation or the bathroom bill, or related to a ban on taxpayer-funded lobbying as a way to signal to Democrats that this is payback for your quorum break.
Yeah, the gloves definitely are off, but we're still got a session here. Senate leadership, House leadership teeing up some big items on the governor's call to potentially fast track in this last week of special session. I agree with Stephen's saying, it's a snowball's chance that everything's going to get done. But, flood response package, the Senate rebooted their hemp plan, the STAR test, bathroom bill. We're not going to get to everything, right, Stephen? But, there's going to be something that's going to be passed. So potentially, what gets passed and what gets punted?
Yeah, I mean, if Democrats return before, or let's just talk about the second special session, flood legislation is going to pass. It's going to have bipartisan support, even though Democrats are critical of Governor Abbott, saying he has the resources and authority to do some of these things on his own. Now, when we get to THC, it looks like Charlie Garen from Fort Worth is putting up a Abbott-friendly version of a THC ban. I don't think the governor likes the Senate's version, and so we will have to wait and see how many sessions it'll take.
All right. Well, we have more issues, right, Stephen?
Yeah, we got issues on the other side of this break. All right, this is my favorite segment. It's called We've Got Issues. My issue, my Atlanta Braves suck. I had to sit at Globe Life Field last week and watch my Braves get swept. Now, when they're not playing the Braves, I'm all for the Rangers, but I was for the Braves. They got swept. They suck, but a little glimmer of hope. The only trophy we're getting this year, they won the delayed Speedway, whatever, racetrack game. So I'll take some solace in that. Mark, what is your issue?
Well, my issue relates to sort of what the reaction is among House Democrats and Republicans statewide. I think we're seeing very intense focus by Republicans on getting these House Democrats back, and House Democrats trying to stay out of the state at least long enough to kill off this first special session. Rudy, what about you?
All right, guys, my issue is somewhat of a continuation of my issue from last week with how my wife was trying to bring out the fall decorations before Labor Day. I think that there should be a national law against this. Come and get her law enforcement now, please. This week, it's what I saw at the grocery store of all places. Guys, this is serious. They have put out all the Halloween candy. Come on, man. College football hasn't even kicked off yet. If anything, we should be seeing tailgating displays, not candy ghosts and goblins. Come on. Now, don't get me wrong. Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year, but let's not dig this holiday up early in the name of commerce. Just saying boo to that. Okay. You can see this in our other interviews on our YouTube pages, and you can also keep the conversation going on our social media sites.
All right, Greg Grugan, third member of the Fox Texas Trio, will be back next week. And who's to know what will happen next week? But guess what? We'll be here talking about it. We'll see you next week. And remember to let us know what you think the issue is.